What if China, the rising superpower, were to make a bold move and invade one of Southeast Asia's largest nations, Indonesia? Could it prevail? And what would be the ramifications for the region and the world at large? In today's video, we delve into a scenario that could shake the very foundations of the geopolitical landscape: a full-scale invasion of Indonesia by China. What would this mean for Southeast Asia, global stability, and the future balance of power? Why might China, with its burgeoning global influence, seek to invade Indonesia? The reasons could be strategic: seizing control of vital maritime trade routes, securing valuable natural resources, or reacting to escalating tensions in the South China Sea. Indonesia lies along one of the world's most crucial shipping lanes, with over 50,000 vessels passing through its waters annually. For China, gaining control of this route would not only strengthen its military dominance, but also grant it a stranglehold over global trade. In this hypothetical scenario, tensions flare up over territorial disputes in the South China Sea. As instability in the region mounts, China faces growing pressure to assert control. With rising nationalism and economic interests at stake, Beijing makes a daring decision to invade and seize control of Indonesia's key islands. But could China, with its military prowess, successfully conquer and hold a sprawling archipelago like Indonesia? And what ripple effects would this have across Southeast Asia? Do you believe China would invade for purely economic reasons? Or could there be more at play? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If China were to invade Indonesia, its strategy would likely be swift and overwhelming. With the largest navy in the world and cutting-edge air power, China would aim to capture Indonesia's major islands, such as Java, Sumatra, and Borneo, in order to secure vital ports and military assets. The invasion would commence with a massive naval and aerial assault, designed to dominate Indonesia's airspace and territorial waters. China would target key cities like Jakarta, Surabaya, and Medan, crippling Indonesia's ability to mount a response and isolating the nation's military forces. However, Indonesia's unique geography, a vast archipelago of over 17,000 islands, would pose a significant challenge. While China's military might may initially overwhelm Indonesia's defences, maintaining control over such a fragmented region would prove to be an entirely different task. Could China effectively conquer Indonesia's islands, or would they struggle with the logistics and face fierce guerrilla resistance? And how might Indonesia's diverse geography play to its advantage? Indonesia's geography isn't merely an obstacle for an invasion, but a potential asset for resistance. The country's dense jungles, sprawling coastlines, and fiercely independent local communities could foster the conditions for a prolonged and grueling conflict. If China were to successfully seize Indonesia's major cities and ports, the immediate fallout would be staggering. With a population of over 270 million, Indonesia would be thrown into chaos as civilians flee conflict zones and key trade routes are thrown into disarray. Indonesia controls vital maritime choke points, and its strategic position in global trade cannot be overstated. A full-scale invasion would lead to major disruptions in international shipping, skyrocketing oil prices, and economic shocks that would reverberate across Asia and beyond. The humanitarian crisis would be equally devastating. Millions of Indonesians could be displaced, with the conflict destabilizing neighbouring countries such as Malaysia, Singapore, and even Australia. China's control over Indonesian resources, including oil, agriculture, and minerals, would grant it tremendous leverage in global markets. But for how long could China maintain control over such a vast and complex country? And how might the international community respond to such an aggressive maneuver? While China may succeed in an initial invasion, holding on to Indonesia would be an entirely different matter. Given its fragmented geography and fiercely independent populace, Indonesia would become a nightmare for any occupying force. Resistance would come not only from Indonesia's formal military, but also from local militias, guerrilla fighters, and even ordinary citizens. Cities, rural areas, and far-flung islands would all become battlegrounds as Indonesia fights tooth and nail against occupation. The sheer size of Indonesia and the diversity of its terrain, from bustling cities to dense rainforests, would make it nearly impossible for China to maintain control. Local insurgencies, bolstered by significant regional and international support, could turn the occupation into a prolonged and costly conflict. Do you believe China could sustain control over such a vast and diverse country, or would local resistance prove far too powerful? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The global repercussions of a Chinese invasion of Indonesia would be immense. Southeast Asia would be plunged into turmoil, with regional powers like Malaysia, Singapore, and Australia swiftly condemning the invasion and potentially forming new alliances to counter China's expanding influence. Economically, the invasion would trigger a severe global recession. The disruption of crucial trade routes through the South China Sea, coupled with the collapse of Indonesia's industries, would impact everything from oil prices to food security worldwide. Meanwhile, other global superpowers, including the United States, India, and Russia, would respond with their own strategic maneuvers. The invasion could usher in a new era of international tension, as countries either rally against China's aggression or seek to exploit the resulting instability. What do you think the global response would be to a Chinese invasion of Indonesia? Could this spark a larger international conflict? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. This hypothetical scenario demonstrates how a single conflict could reshape not just Southeast Asia, but the world at large. A Chinese victory over Indonesia would send shockwaves through global power dynamics and the international economy. But now, it's over to you. Could China truly invade and defeat Indonesia? And what might the world look like in the aftermath of such a conflict? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy exploring alternate realities and thought-provoking scenarios, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video.